Dear Kathy, it's been tough without you, but I'm glad you got the kids started in school. Guess who's spending a few days here this week? Remember John Olson from Bad Kreuznach? Married to that redhead who looks like a fashion model? He'll be taking command when I leave. I talked him into spending a few days with me to learn the ropes. I'm a little worried. John's a fast burner, typical type A. I think he lacks real-world experience. Missed Vietnam. Not strong on communication skills, if I remember. I've got a very promising new company commander here. Top-notch officer, but not too sure of himself yet. I'll try to get him off on the right foot with John. Yeah, Bob. All set. Good. Okay, we've got Charlie Company Commander's initial assessment tomorrow and Wednesday. And then the pack and motor pool follow up next week. And I'm blocking off Friday morning for Charlie Company Commander's counseling session. All right, now, Bob, I want you to call division headquarters and make sure the staff sergeant from the Provost Marshal's office is going to be here for the security inspection. Roger. Okay. Well, Lieutenant Colonel Olson is here now, so I'll be spending the rest of the day with him. Okay, good, thanks. John, sorry to keep you waiting. Good to see you. It's been how long? 15 years since 8ID?
14 years and 9 months, plus a few days.
Still a detail, man. How's that beautiful wife of yours? Judy, is that right?
Looks good. She ought to. She spends enough of my money on clothes.
Hey, what kind of computer is that?
Well, that's one of those new laptops. Let me show you. It's wonderful. I can take it with me anywhere I go. See? Yeah. So we'll be doing the in-ranks inspection of Charlie Company tomorrow morning at 0900. That's Class A's.
What a waste of time and energy.
Why do you say that?
Oh, come on, Mike. You know as well as I do. Inspections are a pain. I say let the IG deal with that. He's Mr. Inspection, not us.
You better read the latest inspection reg, John. Inspections are a command responsibility. Command, staff, and IG inspections all have their functions within the organizational inspection program. And I've always used the inspection process that way. Matter of fact, one of the first things I did when I assumed command here was plan my OIP.
Seems like a lot of red tape and hassle. It's a waste of time with minimum payoff. All that paperwork and counseling.
John, if I can convince you that the OIP is the foundation of a successful command, I'll be doing you and the Army a big service. Let's see, AR1-201, definition of inspection.
An inspection is an official evaluation of an organization or a part of one to determine compliance with established policies and procedures, to assess the organization's condition and its capability to perform assigned missions or to provide assistance. The inspected commander and other agencies, as determined by the headquarters conducting the inspection, will receive a report, verbal or written. A command inspection is conducted by a commander in the chain of command of the inspected activity. A staff inspection is conducted by staff principals or members responsible for the functional area being inspected. Command and staff inspections are compliance inspections designed to determine the status of an organization's adherence to established law, regulations, policies, procedures, and directives. An Inspector General inspection is conducted by a detailed IG. The IG inspection is oriented toward identification of problems, determination of their root causes, development of possible solutions, and assignment of responsibilities for correcting the problems.
Mike, good morning.
Morning. How's the BLQ?
Well, the heat's about 4 degrees too high. The faucet in the bathroom could use a new washer.
All right, we'll take care of that.
Good. You're reading the regulations?
Right, Dixon's first law. When in doubt, read the regulation. You might learn something. Before anyone, including me, goes out to inspect the unit, he's got to get smart, trained up. Best way to start is to review all regulations, PAMs, manuals, SOPs, and previous inspection reports.
And you call me a detail man.
There's nothing wrong with paying attention to detail. That's Dixon's second law. Focus your attention on the big picture and delegate the details. The inspection is your chance to draw the big picture and pass along the details to your subordinates, make them part of the team. But to do that, a commander has to know or learn the way things are supposed to be done. That way he can make a good evaluation of the area he's going to be looking at. And he's got to know his stuff. So he can help the people he's inspecting by teaching them the right way to do things or offering them better ways to get the job done. You should use the inspection to make your people aware of your goals and standards. Then make them responsible for passing along the details down the line. Come on, we've got just enough time to get to the unit.
This guy's been here how long?
About a month. You're supposed to do the initial assessment within 90 days. I try to do it as early as possible. Captain Greg Bailey, this is Colonel John Olson. Colonel Olson will be taking command here in a couple of months. He'll be around observing for the next few weeks.
Captain?
Pleased to meet you, sir.
All right, Greg, let's have a look at those troops of yours. I use the initial assessment to set the standards up front and teach my company commanders what I expect. The initial assessment helps the new company commander understand the unit's strengths and weaknesses in relationship to my goals and standards.
You're right about the Charlie Company commander. Real sharp guy. You can see he has high standards.
That's right. And he's also a people person. I'm trying to take him under my wing.
You're into that touchy-feely stuff?
I wouldn't put it that way. Bailey's the type of guy the Army needs. Real leadership potential. I'm serious, John. You'll want to teach and mentor him. It's in your own interest. He'll be a big asset to your command, especially if he knows he has your support up front.
He'll be an asset, all right. What's next?
We'll be looking at his arms room and supply room tomorrow. The Provost Marshal's office will be doing a staff security inspection in the arms room at the same time we do the initial assessment.
Really? Why is that?
I try to consolidate inspections to minimize disruption and prevent redundancy. I don't want to keep hassling these guys and interrupting the training schedule.
That's not a bad idea. Ever do unannounced inspections?
I'm always inspecting. Whenever I'm working with my people, I try to teach them how to do things the right way. That's the best way I know to reinforce standards and change behavior.
Company, attention!
Carry on. Greg, what is here?
Are your weapons stored in standard issue arms racks or locally produced lockable containers of at least 22 gauge steel?
We have standard arms racks, Sergeant.
Do you have a memo that establishes key control procedures?
Yes, Sergeant.
May I see it, please? Is the arms room secure?
I think so, Sergeant.
You think so? You should know. Let's take a look at your Jason checklist sheet. Has a custodian been appointed?
Yes, Sergeant.
Well, let's see the documents then.
I thought I had it right here.
Either you have it or you don't. Which was it?
Well, I'm sure we have someone appointed, but I can't seem to find the document at this time.
Look, if there's a guy appointed, you have to have a document with his name on it.
When a soldier signed into the unit, is a shakedown inspection being conducted?
Yes. Here's a copy of the latest company roster.
Okay. Where's your copy of the battalion SOP?
I don't have one.
That's probably why you're having some trouble here. Let me explain what I mean. The SOP is a guideline for a supply sergeant to help him perform his duty. It tells him when and how to conduct inspection and inventory.
That sergeant from the Provost Marshal's office was my kind of guy. Really let the armorer have it for poor attention to detail.
The inspector pressed too hard on the eaches and seemed to miss the big picture. If he really wanted the inspection to work, he should tell the soldier how to fix the system, instead of just finding fault with trivial problems.
So, what's next?
Well, tomorrow morning I'll have Greg Bailey in for a counseling session. I like to do the report as soon as possible after the assessment, to give him feedback. And we'll go over his goals and objectives using his -1.
You know, Mike, you and I just don't seem to do things the same way. But I've got to admit, the battalion looks great. And since you're going to the War College, you must be doing something right. Don't you have any major problems around here?
Sure I do. Well, we've had serious paperwork delays at the PAC. It's beginning to affect morale, and I want to be sure it doesn't continue. So I'm going to do a PAC inspection next week. Then there's a biggie over at the motor pool. In fact, you need to know about that one. The IG scheduled a special inspection on maintenance. It'll happen during your first 30 days in command. And he'll be here next month for a pre-inspection visit, so I can give him all the information I have.
You're going to tell the IG that you've got problems?
Well, sure. If I can't solve it myself, there's probably a glitch in the system somewhere. I want to give the IG as much data as I can to help him find the root causes of the problem.
Mike, I'm going to think long and hard about your OIP philosophy. But all those buzzwords, teaching and mentoring, I'm not comfortable with that. That's not my style.
John, I can't say it too often. Your OIP is the foundation of a successful command. And it's not a matter of personal style. Teaching and mentoring aren't just buzzwords these days. They're policy, and they work.
Why can't people just do their jobs? That's what they get paid for. I'm worried about pleasing the guy in the mirror. He's my toughest critic.
John, look, it's great to have high personal standards. That's what's gotten you this far. But for commanders, the toughest critics are the guys who work for you. Unit performance is the best reflection of a commander's standards. Well, enough of this. Don't you have a plane to catch?
Yeah, I do. Got an appointment tomorrow morning to check out some new computer hardware. Tell you the truth, I'd like to stick around longer. You're gonna be a tough act to follow, Mike.
Not so tough. Just give what I said a thought. John, it's been real good to see you.
You too, Mike.
Greg, in looking at your company, we've created a bundle of paperwork. You'll get copies of the report. And by the way, you can be sure no one else sees this checklist. It's a benchmark to give you a starting point. I do use the information to help solve problems and pass on lessons learned. Greg, I would say your company's in good shape overall. Your folks are doing a lot of things well. Your PT, rifle marksmanship program, and NBC training were top-notch. In fact, the best in the battalion, as far as I can tell.
Thank you, sir.
And there's a new enthusiasm since you took command. A company needs that. And I attribute it largely to you and your attitude. You've got a knack for team building. The Army needs that. You keep building on these strengths to improve them. And I want you to pass along to your people that I saw and liked their hustle.
Thank you, sir. What's the bad news?
There's some things we need to bring up to standard. Now, here's what I suggest. You need to make sure your supply sergeant is running things like the rest of the battalion. Now, there may be an easy fix. The first item is not having a copy of the SOP on hand. Just getting an up-to-date SOP and using it might solve the problem. And try to make all of your subordinates part of your team, even the ones with the less interesting work. Look, I know the supply room isn't as exciting as marksmanship and NBC training, but it's an important area. It affects sustainability. Everything we do should lead to combat readiness. That's what it's all about here. Be sure all of your people know and understand your goals and objectives. Today, we're going to work up some realistic and attainable ones for next year and add them to your support form. Now, the arms room looked good, pretty good overall. A couple of tiny little things, but I'm not going to. Sergeant Lawson, are all SIDPERS transactions being turned in when a soldier arrives or departs?
Yes, sir. The SIDPERS clerk processes all transactions daily. Our timeliness and accuracy rates have both increased to 99%.
Very good. Corporal, when a soldier is barred from re-enlistment, are his records being flagged immediately?
Yes, sir. Any soldier who is barred is flagged. After each transaction, I check with the PSC to make sure that none slip through the cracks.
Very good. Captain, sounds good, sir. Ted, I wanted to get right back to you because of the problems we've been having with delays. I know a lot of people overlook your area because they say it's just paperwork. But I understand that your business isn't paper. It's people, taking care of their reassignments, promotions, pay, and a lot of other personal items that your section controls. I want you to know I put a lot of stock in your work. What you do affects morale. Some of these issues just boil down to statistics, things we can measure, like making sure people get their orders or their pay on time. Now, we need to review those every month, so you know if things are getting better or worse and why. Then we can figure out what we need to emphasize or what we need to work harder on to correct. Have all the monthly PMCSs on our vehicles been completed this month, Sergeant?
Yes, sir, they have. I turned the report in yesterday to the XO.
I'd like to see the monthly on Headquarters 6 and Bravo 6, please.
All right, sir, right away. PFC Reynolds, go to the shop office on my desk and bring the monthly PMCSs out here to me.
I'd like to have a look at Headquarters 6, Sergeant.
Right away, sir. It's parked right here, ready for inspection.
Sergeant, if the PMCS was just pulled a day ago, how come the water and oil levels in this vehicle are so low?
Sir, I don't have an answer for that question.
Well, are the men using the dash 10s when they pull the PMCS?
It's evident to me, sir, they're not, because besides the oil on this vehicle being low, there was several vehicles when I went through the motor pool this morning that was missing parts that were not annotated on the 24-4.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Mark, I appreciate what you're trying to do to make things look good at the motor pool. And they do on the surface. But we still have serious maintenance problems. Now, we need to reconcile our requisitions with the division printout. Talk to the support battalion and your counterparts in other battalions. They might be having the same problem. What you can do is monitor the PMCS closer. You know, some vehicles checked out at roadside spot checks right after PMCS have deadline deficiencies. Now, you and the motor sergeant need to get a handle on that ASAP. Listen, Mark, I'm not trying to blame it all on you. I just want to know why we're having these problems. My hunch is that some of it lies outside our ability to fix. So you stay on top of it at this end and make sure we're doing all we can. Then I'll pass our findings along to help the IG see if he can figure out any root causes. I know the old story, George. The IG is here to help me. I happen to believe it. I think you can make a difference in this case. I need your help to find what's causing the bulk of our maintenance problems.
Well, as you know, Mike, we're going to start a special maintenance inspection late next month. You can tell from the advanced messages and schedules, the CG is concerned about maintenance problems. So, based on data from you, other commanders, and the division staff, we've come up with a new inspection concept. CG's approved it. It calls for an in-depth look at maintenance problems throughout the command. Now, Mike, I know you're familiar with the process we use, and we sure appreciate the cooperation you give us on these types of inspections. It's a big help. But we want to identify the root cause of these maintenance problems and recommend appropriate fixes. If we can't get our vehicles out of the motor pool, we're not ready to go to war.
This doesn't look like the same office. My walls aren't going to look as impressive as yours.
Oh, come on. You'll be fine.
No, no kidding, Mike. You know, I've thought a lot about what we discussed. It's starting to sink in. The importance of the organizational inspection program, the teaching and mentoring business. But it's not easy for me, you know?
I hope I didn't come on too strong. But, well, this command means a lot to me. I've invested a lot of myself here the past 2 years. And I'd like to think you can build on that. I want you to succeed as a commander.
You never told me I had a bad attitude about inspections. You just kept teaching me the right way to think about them without telling me my perceptions were wrong. You were teaching and mentoring me.
Come on, old buddy. About that time. John, a parting shot. Dixon's first law, when in doubt, read the regulation. Dixon's second law, focus on the big picture and delegate the details. Good luck, Mike.
All Army inspections should accomplish specific purposes, involve a critical rather than a cursory examination, result in a report, verbal or written, have only one individual in charge, either a commander, a staff member, or an IG. Be held to the minimum number required. Give maximum credence to previous inspections. Be conducted by the lowest level headquarters that is capable. Complement other inspection activities. Clearly support mission accomplishment. Recognize excellence. Determine causes of problems. Follow up previous inspections. Teach those inspected. Additionally, the most important inspections are at the battalion level. Command and staff inspections are compliance-oriented. IG inspections focus on issues rather than units. Commanders, staff officers, and inspectors general must work together to build and maintain a strong inspection program. The results of a successful inspection program are better units and improved readiness. If you have questions on inspection policies, procedures, or techniques, contact your local IG.